Let's bring in Signa Butler of CBC Sports. Signa, tough to understate the amount of enthusiasm and excitement among Canadians, including the Prime Minister who was there last night. What does a victory of this magnitude on our home soil mean to the team?
It's huge. Number one, the first victory of the World Cup, to have it in such an emphatic fashion, 6-0. The Jonathan David hat trick, where people have been calling, is he going to score? He's not in form, and he proves everyone wrong. Everyone on that team, whether they were starters or game-changing substitutes, everyone played to their best ability in the game that probably mattered the most. You needed to have those 3 points to assure that you would move on past this group stage, which it looks like they will as one of the top 2 teams in the group. They still have 1 game remaining. But just the first victory on home soil, it was huge. Obviously, you alluded to the fact that it was also bittersweet. It was a really, really tough moment in the middle of that game, losing Ismaël Koné to a broken leg. The team galvanized around him and put forward one of the best performances we've ever seen by a Canadian national team.
Bit more about that, Signa, that terrible injury for Ismaël Koné, where we know that Jesse Marsh said that they actually heard the snap of his bone breaking, which is just terrible. I want to show our viewers a social media post. We have this social media post that's showing Ismaël Koné in hospital with Moise Bombito, of course, Bombito himself, who was playing his first game yesterday after coming back from his own fractured leg. I mean, how hard does losing Ismaël Koné at this important juncture hurt the team?
It hurts the team immensely. I mean, Ismaël Koné, you could call him the best midfielder on the team. He's a rising star in Europe, just provides so much in the midfield in terms of his technical ability, the way that he can break lines and control the tempo of the game. So, that hurts. I think what you saw, though, after that injury, which was truly horrific, it was nauseating to watch that happen. And the way that the team really rallied around him. You saw Max Crépeau, the goalkeeper of the team, who himself went through a broken leg ahead of the Qatar World Cup. He didn't go to that World Cup because of a broken leg. Moise Bombito, as you mentioned, which was wonderful to see him. That brotherhood that this team has, and Bombito hitting the pitch, which should have been a joyous moment for him. His first real action since breaking his leg back in October. Tajon Buchanan's been through it as well. This team kind of felt it viscerally when this happened to Ismaël Koné, but the way they performed, the way that they showed their character, kept going in this game when it could have been, you could have fought the other team. You could have taken it out in anger. They took it out in beautiful football, and we saw that with that 6-0 win.
That is something that team spirit is something that they're certainly going to need going ahead. We know that Canada wraps up the group stage with another big game in Vancouver. This one will be against Switzerland, and it's on Wednesday. Tell us about the importance of this match and how do you gauge our chances?
Well, Switzerland, I think, before this tournament was seen as the favorite in the group. After all, they've been to the knockout stage of the World Cup in the last 3 World Cups. They're a European, nation that's used to being at World Cups. Canada, this is just their 3rd appearance. But if you look at the standings, Canada is on top right now, thanks to that goal differential, the 6-0 win. Switzerland was winners over Bosnia-Herzegovina yesterday, 4-1. So Canada has the advantage going into this game. So all Canada needs is a draw or a victory to secure first place in the group. And that would be massive because that means that Canada stays on home soil for that knockout game, which would be on July 2nd. They would also get a little bit more rest. They would stay in Vancouver to play at Vancouver Stadium, BC Place, for those of you who are wondering what Vancouver Stadium might be. But that would be huge for the Canadian team. It also gives more time as well for a player like Alphonso Davies. We have not seen him, the captain of the Canadian team, the best player on the Canadian team, recovering from a hamstring injury. Might we see him against Switzerland? We shall see. But if the Canadian team plays the way they're playing right now, and they're able to secure a draw or a win against Switzerland, you have even more time for Davies and players like Bombito and others coming back from injury to get healthy. Alternative being that you finish 2nd in the group, it means you have to travel to LA on less rest to play the possibility of likely South Korea. So Canada just has an opportunity to play on home soil for as long as possible if they win this group.
And Signa, while we still have you, I mean, you've been my sporty buddy forever, and you know so much about soccer, more than anyone I know. What does it mean to the team that to have that absolute support of the nation? I mean, it was impossible not to be touched by this, just watching it in Vancouver, but also here in Toronto and in cities around the country yesterday. How much does this affect their chances of winning?
You know what? I haven't seen it like this ever, really. You know, maybe the women's victory in the gold medal game, looking back at Tokyo 2020. But this is on home soil, and it's just to see the roof basically blown off of Vancouver Stadium last night, and the watch parties across the country. I mean, coast to coast to coast. It's just amazing. And I think that, you know, Jesse Marsh has talked about the crowd being the 12th player. They were definitely the 12th player last night. It was deafening at Vancouver Stadium, and certainly at all those watch parties across the country. It means a lot, and especially will mean a lot when they're playing Switzerland in that decisive group game next Wednesday.
Signa, thank you so much for that. That's the CBC's Signa Butler in Toronto.